Namanda Vutsinamanda 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 Vutsinamanda.
Good morning. My name is Mike Shibata, and I would like to welcome you to today's service. We will begin our service with opening meditation, followed by Nembutsu. Please join me in placing your hands together in Gassho.
Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu.
Please rise for singing of the Gatha, The Texture of Life, on page 221, verses 1 and 2. This will be followed by recitation of the Golden Chain and Nembutsu on page 5.
Golden Chain. I am a link in Amida's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I will keep my link bright and strong. I will be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will think pure and beautiful thoughts, say pure and beautiful words, and do pure and beautiful deeds. May every link in Amida's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda.
Please join in the chanting of the Sutra Jusei on page 95 of the service book. During the Sutra chanting, we will have Oshoko or incense offering by the following: Dharma School student Andrew Kawaguchi, adult Casey Ogata Tran.
Kagun Chosegan Ishimu Jodo Shigan Fumanzok Se 小学顔無良子不意大接種不採小兵軍政府上小学菓子成仏道妙正長寺本苦行未所門政府上小学利欲人少年上映主本業しぐむ浄土一生天にし地に起縁大根不生無才道少女三苦名交際集約難回避自衛権名詞根門案閉塞小悪通達全種門高層上満足医療同時本日月主十金天根不言一種海王尊公正苦毒音上大集中説法ししく供養微細物具足習得音関連出場満得意三害音妙仏無下知通達未不詳雅楽エリック投資最小村志願略語感大聖の感動国書天人当知妙見しくどく平等正義祭道 Watsinamanda, 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 Watsinamanda.
We will now listen to a Dharma message by Reverend Candace Shibata.
Okay, good morning. It's good to see everybody. I know we're a little light today on attendance, but I think many folks are either on vacation enjoying that fall break, or some of our Buddhist Women's Association members went to the Federation of Buddhist Women's Association conference. And so, but either way, it's wonderful to have 100 people or one person. And whether or not that one person is just me, it's still a pleasure for me to be here with all of you. And I was so honored to be able to go to the conference, the Buddhist Women's Conference yesterday. And we heard a keynote message from Colleen Hanabusa, and she was a congresswoman in the state of Hawaii. And so although I won't be touching so much, I'm going to save that for later, on her keynote address, but there was something that really touched me in regards to the sentiment that she was saying in regards to impermanence, and how impermanence, which we know is a major tenet of the Buddhist teachings, and of the Buddhist schools, all of the Buddhist schools, and how impermanence should really inform our lives in regards to everything that we do. And because we know that tomorrow is never guaranteed, that we know that impermanence is all around us, in nature and everywhere else. Just as we are celebrating birthdays this month as well, we know that we do age every year and every day, in fact. But how does impermanence really speak to this small little lesson that I found online? And so there's so many like tips and wisdom that you can find online, and this actually I found on Instagram, and I can't recall the author of this particular quote, but this particular quote says, "Let today be about everything you already have instead of everything you still want." Okay, let today be about everything you already have instead of everything you still want. So this, I really need to like pin this to the wall in my house too, because at times, right, there's so many different things that we want and we think that we need, but perhaps when we think about everything that we currently have, such as a house, food, transportation, warm clothes, maybe too warm clothes if you're a little bit warm like I am right now, but the clothes, our friends, so many different things, material or otherwise, that we have. And when we think about all of those things that we have, how can our hearts not be filled with gratitude and love and appreciation for that? So it's kind of funny that I'm talking about this today, because in the mail during this past week, I received two different catalogs, one for Walmart and one for Amazon, of toys. So it made me really think about my nephew, my great nephew, and I'm sure he'll be coming over and saying, these are the pages that I marked, these are the things that I want for the holidays, and what do his most favorite great aunties do? We get him all of those different toys. However, my nephew is very, very fortunate to have many toys already. And what his parents encourage him to do before he gets new toys or new items before his birthday or before Christmas holiday, they encourage him to go through his toys, look at everything that he has, and he has to donate some of those toys. to allow him to be able to be really appreciative of everything else that he does receive. But how can we think about this in regards to even greed and anger and desire, especially greed, which we think about as one of our human conditions that everybody has? But perhaps maybe if we had a little bit of this lesson in mind, we won't be so overpowered by greed and all of those things that we feel that we need and we want. Um, and hopefully we could be really appreciative of all of those things that we do already have that fully sustain us. Even this past weekend, there was a craft fair at the conference, and already I went in there thinking, what can I buy? What other things would make my heart feel so happy? And if you know me already, you know I'm a sucker for little tote bags. I love little tote bags, and I actually restrained myself and I didn't buy any tote bags because I was already thinking about all those little tote bags that I had, including one of those mini tote bags from Trader Joe's. Do you know about the frenzy with the Trader Joe's bags? So they have these cute little tote bags. How many of you got one of those cute little tote bags? Nobody? You tried? Did you try? Okay, maybe you tried. Okay, so I have to admit I went bananas and I bought a few of those tote bags when I was able to, but you'll see online of people just running after those tote bags and just kind of having disregard for other folks. So I think again, let today be about everything you already have instead of everything you'll want. And with that idea in mind, hopefully, again, with everything that we do, whether it's eating lunch later on, going and changing your out of your church clothes and maybe going into your comfy pajamas later on, think about all of the things and the possessions that we have that truly make our life comfortable, all of those countless conditions that allow us to have those things, and perhaps we can still be very, very fulfilled in everything that we have and be able to place our palms together in gasho and say Namu Amida Butsu as an expression of this gratitude that of all of the things that we have because of countless conditions of our lives. Okay, so please have a great afternoon today, and please join me in gasho as I conclude this message. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu.
Thank you, Sensei, for your Dharma message. We'll have birthdays for the month of October. As your name is called, please come up and burn incense. Receive your cupcake and have your candle lit by Sensei. We will start with the older students, and please come up quickly so we can get everyone in front before the candles burn away. Dharma School, Marin Uemura. Are there any other students whose birthdays in October? We will have, for adults, Beverly Hota, Kiyoshi Hayashi, Janet Sterling, Dr. John Fuji. If there are any other adults, Linda Kawaguchi. Any other uh, individuals who has a birthday in October, please come up. We are now saying happy birthday to our dear friends. For announcements, SBWA Rummy Sale is on Saturday, November 2nd. Drop-off dates are November 6th today and on the 20th from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. There will also be a bake sale during the Rummy Sale. SBWA is requesting donations of baked goods on that morning of the Rummy Sale. That's on Saturday, November 2nd. The Northern California District will be celebrating the BCA 125th anniversary here in Stockton. This will be next Sunday. This will be in conjunction with our late Bishop's Memorial and Eitai service. This will be followed by a lunch and entertainment program. The following Sunday, October 20th, will be the installation of all youth organizations. Following that service on the 20th, there will be taiko lessons for the students and any other interested individual. This will be after the class. On Sunday, October 27th, will be the Halloween party sponsored by Dharma School and YBA. There will be a pumpkin dessert contest. Bring your favorite dessert featuring pumpkin in the pastry if you would like to participate. It is also bring a friend to church day. Ensure that you wear a costume. Mochizuki will be on November 17. Order forms will be in the Karma or contact the temple office. Cans and plastic bottles are now being collected by YBA. Please leave your recyclables in the white barrels near the mini chapel. Copies of the church calendar are in the foyer. Are there any other announcements? Following this service will be the Shotsuki service. If you are not attending the Shotsuki service, you're invited to go to the mini chapel for coffee hour. Also, all students will meet in the mini chapel in the altar area. This will be a combined class for all students. Thank you for attending today's service. You're now dismissed.
Okay, good morning. Good morning, everybody. so, it, don't be shy. If you want to sit up close, you can, considering everybody's so far away, but if not, it's okay. So good morning, and thank you so much for joining us. Whether it's okay, no pressure. You don't have to if you don't want. I know everybody has their designated seats that they really enjoy sitting in, so it's okay. It's okay. But thank you for joining me. Whether online, hello, our online group, or in person. So this particular service is our Shotsuki monthly memorial service, and we are remembering and honoring our friends and loved ones who have passed away in the month of October. And so whether or not you're here at the temple, or if you're online, or if you can't make it at all, but you watch it a little bit later, this is our opportunity to really think about our friends and our loved ones, as we do every day. But perhaps this is a quiet moment for us to be able to come to the temple, perhaps a place that meant a lot to our friends and loved ones, and to really be mindful of our connection with them that still sustains us and still connects us with them, allowing us to be in this present moment with all of them today as well. So I'll start the service with the chanting of Sambujo. And Sambujo is a hymn called Three Respectful Callings, and we call upon Amida Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, and the Buddhas of the 10 directions, and we joyfully welcome them to be present today, with all of the Buddhas of our lives, including friends and loved ones. This will be followed by the Hyo Byakumon, or the dedication or declaration of our gathering today, including the reading of the names of the deceased. So please join me for the chanting of Sambujo, and you could chant along or follow along with me on the inside front cover of the service book. Bujo Nida Nyoda We have gathered today to observe our Shotsuki monthly memorial service. This is our monthly service to remember friends and loved ones who have passed away in the month of October. They are Dorothy Akaba, Ted Tetsuo Aoyama, Senkichi Arai, George Kiyoshi Baba, Nobuzo Baba, Shizuko Clark, Richard Tetsuo Doi, Toyo Foundation, George Fuji, Junji Fujishige, Mary Fukushima, Ishii Goto, Kenichi Hamamoto, Tom Takeo Hiraga, Anna Keiko Hirata, Mei Hirota, George Masao Hisaka, Roy Hiroshi Honda, Frank Horita, Tom Ichiji Imada, Shigeru Inamasu, Haruka Ishihara, Lily Ito, Mitsuo Mits Kagehiro, Howard Kanemoto, Chisaburo Kasa, Robert Umeo Kawasaki, Jack Susumu Kitagawa, Sasae Koga, Mitsue Komure, Ben Sarao Kumimoto, Sachiko Matsuo, Yoshio Moriwaki, Yaeko Murata, Katsuto Ken Nagai, Chika Nagai, Kenji Nakawatase, Kazuko Ni, Sue Noreen, Sono Ogata, Reverend Thomas T. Okamoto, Sei Okawa, Usaburo Okubo, Momijiu Okubo, Tadao Oshima, Gerald Ryuto, Henry Sagara, Kie Sakakura, Henry Shibata, Katsumi Suzuki, Kenji Takeuchi, Mary Tomura, Lou Tsunakawa, Meri Meriko Umino, Kanichi Bud Watanabe, Gunji Watanabe, Kaoru Yagi, Kaneo Yagi, Charles H. Yagi, Calvin Yamada, Haru Yamada, Mitsue Yamamoto, Chizuko Yamanaka, Kukino Yamanouchi, Edith Yamasaki, Tomomi Yamasaki, and Clarence K. Yamasaki. We realized in the cherished memories of those we love and have lost, the impermanence of all the world is revealed. May the fragrance of the incense teach us the purity of our intentions. May the beauty of the flowers offered remind us of life's impermanence. May the lights that burn brightly on the altar lead our thoughts to Amida Buddha's light of wisdom and compassion. Please join me in Gassho. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namanda. At this time, please join me in the sutra chanting of Sambutsuge. And Sambutsuge can be found starting on page 82. And I welcome everybody in attendance to come forward to offer incense during the chanting of Sambutsuge. And whenever I start, maybe Lon, do you want to start everybody off for us? Okay, thank you. 精進三昧知恵一徳無量修正形無人体千年小仏崩壊苦人人の空港解体無明欲ぬ生存業無二の死心人徳無量空軍古代知恵寿命光明味噌神道大戦ガンガサ仏最小可動生じ未不下脱不正上位解任精進妙正三昧知恵以上公正特物不行志願一切空空一切大安決し無物百千億万無量大小収入公者不要一切死と小物不尿空洞健常不逆異尿公者小物世界不不影無種節道光明師匠変師匠国妙正精進一時な量量が差仏国土大一公衆奇妙道場超絶国領内音任務闘争ガト愛民道達微細地方大小心熱症状意図が国気楽はのん鉱物神妙生が心象発がの品力少所欲自母生存知恵無限浄土子孫知 Okay, so please join me in the singing of the Gatha Ondoksan number 2, which can be found on page 197. And please stand if you're able. And this will be followed by the three treasures on page 2. And we don't have an organist, so we're going to have to use recorded music. So give me a moment. Please join for the recitation of three treasures on page 2. Hard is it to be born into human life, now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One, now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves your supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in your life of harmony in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Nama. Please be seated. Okay, so at this time, I'd like to give a Dharma message for today's Shotsuki service. And it was inspired by a message that I had given for the Cortez Hawakai, and I kind of just expanded on that. But I was mentioning that it's so hard to believe that it's October, and I think I probably say this at every Shotsuki or even at every Cortez meeting, as we only meet once a month for Cortez, our small congregation in Turlock. And again, I think because the month goes by so quickly, and then here we are being able to gather again. And as we begin the month of October in the Central Valley, I'm sure many of us have really felt the unexpected heat wave during the past week that continues even today. And so, again, we deeply apologize for the inconvenience of not having the air conditioner. Um, uh, ready, as we've had a few little snafus here and there in regards to getting the new air conditioning unit. So hopefully you're nice and comfortable, and you might, I hope her message is kind of short today because I know I'm kind of sweating, so I don't want you to be too uncomfortable. But hopefully we're still able to hear and receive the Buddha Dharma today. So all of these weather conditions, and of course the catastrophic events in the United States and even around the world, um, has caused damage to homes and really affected the lives of those individuals in those particular areas. So on September 29th, and I read in an online journal called The Guardian, it began by saying that the head of the U.S. Disaster Relief Agency, called Hurricane Helene, which has killed 100 people, a true multi state event that has caused significant infrastructure damage and had been made worse because of global heating. So the head administrator at FEMA, Diane Griswold, she stated that there was a 15-foot storm surge that hit Florida's Taylor County. And I'm sure many of us have seen the news and how devastating that hurricane has been. And if you can imagine, they even received winds as high as 140 miles per hour. In our cars, I don't know if any of us have traveled 140 miles per hour in cars, but you can imagine just how frightful those winds could have been. And it also impacted the northern part of, or excuse me, the western part of North Carolina with 29 inches of rain, which caused historic flooding for them. And so there were emergency declarations for multi states. So Alabama, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Tennessee. And so these have been declared states of emergency under President Biden's administration. So truly, it's been very devastating to see the footage of homes destroyed after the hurricane. And the FEMA administrator said that it's linked to um, this to the climate emergency, stating that the storm, it actually took a little bit of time to develop, but once it did, it intensified very, very rapidly. And that's because of the warm waters in the Gulf that's creating more storms that are reaching this kind of higher caliber category level. So in the past, damages from hurricanes have mostly been primarily because of wind damage, but we're seeing much more water damage recently as the result of warmer waters due to climate change. And I know that this has been a source of debate for folks. However, we can't deny that we've been seeing some definite changes in our weather that even affects us here in California. So, of course, we can have a sense of sympathy for those individuals being affected by Hurricane Helene. And because we currently live in California, we may not understand what it's truly like to be under 100 plus mile winds or have storm waters enter our homes, and have every belonging be affected by that. But if we lived outside of California, perhaps maybe you have experienced conditions like these. So possibly maybe you do have a sense of empathy and compassion, as we know firsthand, or you might know firsthand, how frightening it can be. So, of course, in California, we do worry about earthquakes and droughts and different things that affect us too. Because it was noted that the hurricane was affected and amplified by climate change, we can really perhaps deepen our understanding of the impact, not just others outside of the state of California, but understand how we individually contribute to climate change. And as Buddhists, we refer to our state of being as interdependent and interconnected, which encourages us to take a look. at our own actions and assess and understand how our actions, of course, have consequences and change our behaviors that affect us individually and others near and far. So these understandings can allow us to really, I think, deepen our connection to the oneness of all life, as we just read in the three treasures. So, an article that Reverend Marvin Harada wrote in July 2010, which is included in his book, Discovering Buddhism in Everyday Life, he wrote about a Zen Buddhist monk. And his name was Ryokan, and he lived in Japan from 1758 until 1831. And the way in which Ryokan lived his life illustrated truly this oneness with life and with nature. And I think he was very kind and compassionate based on what Reverend Harada was saying in his book. So Ryokan lived in a very tiny hut in Japan. And since saying that it probably wasn't much larger than many of the walk-in closets in large homes today. And so in his little hut, um, Ryokan noticed a bamboo shoot growing under the floor of his little hut. So when the bamboo grew to the bottom of the floor of his hut, Ryokan cut out a little hole for it so that the bamboo can continue to grow inside his home. So luckily, the bamboo plant flourished and grew, but in time, of course, then it reached the ceiling of the hut, and it couldn't grow any further. So then Ryokan then cut out a hole in the roof. So it allowed the bamboo plant to continue to grow taller and taller. So Ryokan's regard for the bamboo plant didn't allow him to cut it or let the roof or the floor hinder its growth. He literally lived with the bamboo and enjoyed watching it grow and flourish. Cutting a hole in his roof meant that the rain and the cold would enter his hut, which would have been freezing cold being so close to the mountains. So, Sensei went on to write that in the summertime in Japan, mosquitoes are abundant. And with the humidity and with all of the ponds and rice paddies in the country. So, of course, to protect themselves, people in Japan would sleep with mosquito nets during the night because of so many mosquitoes. Ryokan would, of course, sleep with a mosquito net, but he would sleep with his leg out of the net to allow the mosquitoes to feed on his leg. So, how many of you can admit being able to do that? If anything, I think we probably swat it away or try to kill it in the middle of the night. So, Ryokan had such regard for all forms of life that he even offered his leg at night so that the mosquitoes could bite him and feed off of him. So, again, when we think about Ryokan, he was very much, again, in tune with nature. And it goes on to say that he was very kind to the children in the village, too. And he would often play with them and be very kind to them as well. And there was a story about Ryokan playing hide and go seek with the children of the village. And he hid so well in the outhouse that. He was waiting for the children to find him and they never did. And when an adult was surprised and said, Yokan, what are you doing in the house? And he said, well, I'm waiting for the children, so shh, don't tell them where I am. And it turned out that he waited all night for somebody, to one of the children, to come and find him. So I think it just shows the heart that Ryokan had for all living beings, mosquitoes and the bamboo, and even for children. And it's very moving to kind of hear the way in which he's able to live his life, and perhaps many of us, if we really look at our own lives, how many of us can really admit that we live the life that Ryokan lived as well. So where am I going with all of this, with this story of Ryokan, and how do we relate it to even our lives here in California? So if you recall, was it last New Year's where we had that really big storm and it was raining? Maybe 2 New Years ago. And surprisingly, we got hit with a lot of rain. And even on Hammer Lane, I was driving home and this tree fell right in front of me. And this woman who was driving next to me, hit the tree, and so we pulled over together, and it was just a scary time, because of all of the rainwater and the flooding that happened that caused all of these trees to fall over. But I'm not sure if you ever noticed coming to the temple, coming off of southbound I-5 in Monte Diablo, there was a tree that had fallen down, and pretty much they cut it back. So it was basically just the stump of the tree, and I would look at it almost every day as I came to work, came to the temple, and it really looked like the roots of the tree had been completely exposed, not even touching the earth beneath it. But more recently, within the last week, I drove past, and maybe because of the sun and the water that it did receive, surprisingly, this tree started growing leaves, and I thought it was dead. And so I was really moved by seeing this image, because I thought that, well, there is this stump that's going to be there for the rest of its life. But to know that it began to grow again, and it seemed like the leaves were really renewed by all of the energy and the sun and the water that it had received. And although we did have a disaster maybe 2 New Years ago, all of that rain and all of those trees coming down, I think it shows, just maybe metaphorically speaking, really how good and strong roots can be, even if a little piece of that root is within the dirt. And for us as Jodo Shinshu Buddhists, and maybe just Buddhists in general, if we think about the foundation of our hearts and minds, if we root them in the Buddha Dharma, the teachings of the Buddha, as shared with us too by Shinran Shoning, our founder, perhaps maybe we can look at our own lives in this particular manner. If we do have obstacles and maybe struggles, and we even feel knocked down at times because of all of the conditions of our lives, the circumstances, and perhaps maybe it's hard to get back up. But like this tree that I had seen on the side of the freeway, if we do have our hearts and minds grounded and rooted in something, and for us again, maybe the teachings of the Buddha, we can overcome some of these challenges in our lives, and be able to be renewed and to grow and to flourish despite the hardships that we have had in our lives. And so, if you ever have a chance, if you're coming back to the temple, take a look on the left hand side of the off ramp of Mont Diablo, and hopefully you'll be able to see that tree and be inspired, like I've been inspired as well. So I'd like to just conclude my message by saying that again, it's sometimes maybe it's impossible or feels like it's impossible to change things around, especially when it comes to the environment or whatever it may be, because we're just one person. But what we can do is to really truly awaken to the oneness of all life and understand the essential teachings of cause and effect, and make small steps in our lives to really make movement and grow and flourish no matter what the conditions might be. So thank you again for joining me and allowing me to share my message today. And please join me in Gasho by placing your palms together as we express our deep gratitude by saying the Nembutsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Okay, so to conclude today's service, I just wanted to have one last meditation with everybody. So if you wouldn't mind placing your palms together one last time for this meditation. May we truly reflect with gratitude and humility on that which we have been allowed to receive through the teachings of the Buddha. May we always endeavor to listen intently with our fellow beings to the summoning voice of Amida Buddha, and together as one be born in Amida's Pure Land. With a radiant and boundless mind, may we regard each living being with loving kindness without limit. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Okay, so thank you so much, everybody, for attending this service this morning. And please feel free, if you haven't had an opportunity to do so. If you have loved ones and friends in the Nokotsuro, please feel free to visit. And also, if you'd like to stay for coffee hour, we'll have a coffee social as well. And I believe it might be on the other part of the mini chapel, so feel free to stay for some refreshments as well. Okay, thank you so much. Have a great afternoon today. Thank you.